Yeah.
Woo!
Good old-fashioned rock and or roll. Nice. I like that. How's it going, Mark?
It's going very well.
This is GVO After Dark, our monthly show that shows up, less frequently than you would imagine. I think we're on season 7. Sorry?
It feels like forever that we've done this.
I didn't note it down here, but I think it was around February or March was the last one.
Jeez.
So we're a little overdue. A little bit. But we're in season 7, which is kind of neat because that means we've at least been doing this for 7 years.
Yeah.
Not consecutively, but it's there. So before we get started, of course, because we normally start around 8 o'clock, I'm just going to go through the chat here. And if there's anybody you want to say hi to, Mark, and I know I'm going to say hi too.
Okay,
we can go through and say hi to all these people that showed up early. Who was the first? You were the first one. You're disqualified.
No, I wasn't. I wasn't the first one.
Oh, you weren't. Who was the first one?
I think Dave Hughes was the first one because you went you posted what, Monday or something.
Yeah, I figure if I post the link early enough that I'm kind of forced to do this. So come hell or high water,
Yeah.
I've been battling illness, so that's been fun. But it's a cough now, but it's been a cough for 2 weeks, so my lungs are tired. But let's see who we've got here. We got Floyd and Dwight. How's it going, guys? For Rackside Mike. And around the layout, Ray, how's it going? And Mr. Brian Ferguson. And Roger Coleman. How's it going, Roger? That's some hard energy to follow. I know, right? If you stick around long enough, Mark will do a solo on the banjo.
Spoons. I'll play spoons.
The spoons. Let's see. Okay, so yeah. So more people are going to pile in. And if it's one thing I've learned, it's that there's a lot of guys that show up and watch even long after this has gone live. So if you're watching on the replay, thank you so much. Hey, Fred, how's it going? Okay, so yeah. So the first thing I think that we'll start off with is the schedules. Hey, Mike, for next month, because of course we've got another one of those months where there's 5 Thursdays. Now, if you guys are not familiar with Third Rail Thursday, that's where the two of us and also Denny from N-Scale Dystopia, we take turns going live every Thursday night. So Denny is usually the first Thursday. I'm the second Thursday. Mark will be the third Thursday. We've got 5 Thursdays in July, just making the summer a little bit longer, right? So I'm going to do the second and the fourth week because I've got lots to do on the layout. So I think, it'll keep me busy. And Mark, he's going to do the third week. And then on the 5th and final week of July, we'll be back here for GVO After Dark. Hey, Nathan, how's it going? Welcome, welcome. But that'll be the month, right? Anthony Dodge, how's it going? Hopefully everyone's doing well. Summer started. Mark, how's your summer going?
So far, so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. One last staff meeting tomorrow morning, and then 2 months off. Can't wait.
Any big plans?
Yeah. New layout.
New layout. So I guess that starts. You were saying July the 1st.
Yeah. James's reverse psychology is working. I want to prove him wrong.
Yeah.
I gotta do it.
Well, we're gonna touch on that a bit more. I think that's going to be a big focus of the night, talking layouts, building a layout, starting fresh, starting new. I know I've done that more than I'd like to admit, and I think we've all at least done it. We have currently, or at some point, we have layouts. So I think we can all relate to those. How do I get started? Kind of, where you're lost and you don't know where to go from there.
Yeah.
We'll touch on that today. Yeah, layout. Well, those little things where you run the trains on.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. So with your current layout, which is in the room, how long have you had that layout for?
7 years? 6 years? How long have I been living here?
I lost track. I tried to go back, but it was pretty far. I had to dig, but
yeah, we've been living here like for 7 years, so I pretty much built it as soon moved in, like 6, 7 years.
6 or 7 years.
It's over 5 years old. Over 5 years.
But it's not your first layout. You've had a couple of others, right?
Yes, I had the 4x8 DC layout at my previous home. I started that modular layout in my basement, my previous home. That didn't get too far. I made an oval. Then we moved. So this will be my like 4th or 5th layout.
No, you're catching up.
Yeah.
Don't make a habit of it. And trust me, I'm trying to kick that habit. Hey, Anthony, how's it going? So, of course, I've always said that whenever I work on a layout and then I start a new layout, I always take something with me, right? You learn something new every layout. So what is going to be the thing that you think you're going to do differently on this next layout? Kind of just that you're excited for, that you really want to try, that you didn't do on your last layout.
There's a few things. For sure, I'm going to pre-drill holes in my underneath the bench work so I can feed wires through easier.
Mm-hmm.
That's number one. I was thinking of painting underneath white. Some guys do that, so apparently it's easier to, because it's so dark under the layout that it's easier to see things when the base underneath is painted white. So I'm thinking about doing that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking of hiding my control box.
Your control box, as in like the
Zephyr?
Throttle?
The throttle, yeah.
This is low-key turned into an interview, by the way. I've never interviewed you, but it's fun.
I'm debating foam. I've always used foam, and I'm not sure if I'll do it this time or not. I don't know. There's pros and cons, as you know.
What do you have foam down right now?
I have foam down right now.
Is it just 1 inch, half inch?
I think it's, oh shoot. I think half inch. Is it off? I don't know. It's been 7 years. I forget. The only drag of this layout with the foam was the Walther switch machines.
Yeah.
It was too thick for the throw bars. But now I'm thinking with this new layout, I might not even do the switch machines. So it doesn't matter if I have foam or not. Anyway.
Well, if you don't have anything that's like too far out of reach, doing it by hand is not a terrible thing, right?
Yeah.
I've avoided doing the switch machines on the entire bottom half of my layout this time around, where the ones that won't be as accessible up top because I'm short. So I'll put a little button on the front to be able to do that. So it's it's a little bit easier, I guess. But
yeah. Do you have foam?
It's a lot more power to run.
Do you have foam?
In some spots. So the main level, the bottom, it's just plywood, and then I've got cork on top, and then the track.
Yeah.
Certain places out there, because it's raised up, I do have foam in certain areas, but most of it is cookie cutter bench work. So it's all plywood that is set to different elevations.
Right.
But I always use cork. Some guys don't even use cork. I don't know why. I like that raised look.
Yeah,
so,
me too. Me too.
Is cork something that you're thinking about this time around as well? Or I think I remember you saying something about foam.
Yeah,
like the foam riser.
I was thinking about foam, and some guys in the chat said it's no good. Because it causes like dips and stuff in the track.
Oh.
The only reason why I was going with foam because it's easier to get. Cork is like hard to find these days, right?
Yeah, Walther's just put out their own version of this this foam roadbed.
Yeah.
And yeah, it seems to be the big thing right now. Cork, for some reason, there's always a cork shortage, or at least every 2 months. And then, of course, the price of everything.
Yeah.
I remember when cork was like $1.50, $2 a strip, and now it's closer to three or $3.50 a strip, and that's Canadian.
Yeah.
So it's not great, but unless you've stocked up already.
Yeah. I use foam on my DC layout, the 4x8, but I didn't like do operations, or I just ripped the trains around the track really quick, so I didn't know it's a huge deal. But my preference is cork, but I mean, if it's not available, I don't know.
Well, there's definitely something going on, because I've checked all the Dollaramas in my area, and there's at least 4 within a certain kilometer of me, and I can't find those square sheets anymore. So, yeah, there I go for spouting off about these wicked deals online, and then everybody runs out and buys it all up, and now there's none left.
Yeah.
Oh well. Hopefully they restock at some point, because it's supposed to be for craft stuff, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, Mike apparently checked too, and he said that they're all out in his area. So
yeah,
there's definitely a shortage if the dollar stores don't have it.
But it's fun. It's funny. Like, I've been watching YouTube videos for 15 years on model railroading. And I still don't know what to do, really. Like 100% what I'm going to do. There's so many options.
Well, I tried to find it, but I couldn't find it, because when you move so many times, things get moved around a lot. But I know I've mentioned it in the past, where there was an article in one of the model railroad magazines that talked about planning your layout, and they gave you a checklist, and that checklist I found to be very helpful, because it's most of the things that you think of when you're starting to plan, like what era do you want to go with, what scale are you doing, which is the obvious, because we already know our scales unless you change teams halfway through. And then, just a lot of the other stuff where it's like, do you want to have a switching operation? Do you want to run passenger or freight? A lot of that stuff. What type of industries? I know I have this book here, and this one is a big one because I found it so helpful. And I know a lot of guys might have this one as well. This is a book on industries. And I sent you some pictures from this because it talks about some of the major industries like the steel industry and ethanol plants, farming, stuff like that. And it shows you track layouts to kind of give you an idea of how they would actually work, which I found to be very helpful. That's what year was this? Keep on display until July 26, 2021. So, I mean, it's obviously it's a few years old, but it's an oldie but a goodie. Still pretty recent. But I've always been a fan of just drawing on paper, just marking out how you want it to look and how you want to move your trains around, even if it's just a rough idea.
Yeah.
And when we look at this layout here, I've got two because I've got two levels. But this is the earliest draft, and I don't think I showed anybody this. This is the earliest draft of the bottom of my layout, right? So you got like my office, which is right here. This is where I am right now, and right behind, which you see, back here, and of course the helix, which is here, and then the the big roundabout at the bottom here, the reverse loop. The things that I've done differently though with this is that I had my ethanol plant right along where my yard is now. It kind of, these are the things that you change as you go through. That's like a placeholder. So once I narrowed it down to saying, okay, well, I have enough room that I can do a full yard, but I want to do a yard in an L shape just to be able to fit more cars at a length. That's when a major part of the bottom changed, but it didn't really change the shape of it. I just changed what was going where.
Yeah.
And then, of course, the same thing with the top part of the layout. Again, I know it's very hard to see, but same kind of thing where you've got the up here, which is right up here, obviously. And then obviously the helix is still in the same place. And then you come up and go across the door, and then you go around, and then there's a reverse loop and whatnot. And then I break it down a little bit further. So for example, the bottom part of my layout, and I guess you'd consider this the phase 3 section of my layout, which is the part of my yard where all the tracks come in, and then there's a reverse loop just to say, okay, well, I'm going to need this many switches. This is roughly what I'll be able to fit. And that's exactly what I did. It was a lot easier to, I'm a visual person, so to see it on paper, it helps.
What about like radius and switches? How do you know what's gonna fit, what's gonna work?
So that happens more when I've got like the bench work down, opposed to drawing it out. I know a lot of people will use like the X-Track CAD and AnyRail, stuff like that, and it's still good. I mean, if you've got the free version, you're kind of like, I've tried it and I ran out of track very quickly, especially for the type of things I do. But what I'll do is I'll more or less figure out the amount of space that I have, and then I have I think it's like 36 or 38 inches long. It's just a skinny piece of wood with all my measurements and all my holes at every inch or every half inch if I need to. I got a couple of them, and they basically act as my guide. So I find where I want to put the track center, and I swing it around, marking each and every single track. And basically that's why I'm able to do a 2-inch track center and put 4 tracks side by side, and they look like in uniform. It all looks uniform because it's all exactly measured with the 2 inches apart. It's just how I gauge my curves, but it does take a little bit to plan it out. I'll do it a couple of times just to say, okay, that's roughly where I want it. But if I need to push it back, I'll do it again, obviously moving the ruler back a bit, and then I'll do another sweep. And then where I marked it, if I like it and it looks good, then I'll go over it with a black marker, like a Sharpie, just to say this is that's my final version of that. And then I can put my cork down over top and then go from there. Oh, hey, Dave. Bye, Dave. Dave's saying he had to leave, but
Dave came in, and James is here now, finally.
And Todd as well. Hey, Todd, how's it going? Hey, James. But it's a bit of a process. I think with some of these things, I'll pick up a couple of switches that I know I'm going to use. For example, in this area here, I knew that I needed some mediums. So I got like a medium left, medium right. And then I would draw out roughly where my tracks are going to go. For example, my main lines. And then I start at my main line and work my way back. So I'll put a switch, work out the angle for the switch. So in this case, a medium. And then is that going into something or is that going into another switch?
Yeah.
And then I kind of lay out all the switches that I more or less want to have for the area, mark it all out, connect them with longer rulers just so that I'm getting my straight lines, and then lay everything out with the cork and whatnot at that point.
Yeah.
Dave's right. You can print templates as well. I know that Pico, you can print the templates right from the website. I found that some of them were a little off though, because I've lined them up, I've drawn it out, and then I go to obviously put down at that point I was doing code 83, so it was it small, medium, large with code 83? No, it goes by numbers. So number 6, number 5, number 8, stuff like that. Yeah. It felt like it was still a little bit off. But,
that's not bad.
You said you wanted to do code 100 this time?
Well, I did say that, but now I think I might, just because I'm cheap, I might, well, I'm not cheap. I just don't want to spend the money, the difference. It's so pricey. Fair. But if I can reuse my code 83, then why not?
Did you paint your track?
No.
So then you're good.
Yeah.
With my old layout, except for the helix, everything was painted. So, I mean, you can clean it and whatnot, but it's a pain to have to go through all that. So that's why I just ended up getting rid of most of it, if not all of it, switched over.
Yeah, the biggest thing is the switches. I don't want to buy all new switches in code 100. I have all these switches that aren't soldered; they're not glued down. So that's the plan. I'm gonna stick with code 83. Try it.
Well, it's good because I mean you'll be able to piece things together a lot easier and a lot quicker as well. So the potential of getting something up and running a lot sooner, it's a lot greater. So where do you even start when you're taking your whole thing apart? Because I know you got a lot of buildings on there and whatnot. Do you plan on reusing a lot of it, or?
Good question. I was driving home today and I was thinking, what am I going to do with my 3M warehouse, for instance? Like, I don't want to reuse that on the layout. Like, anybody want it? Do you want it? I might give it to my brother. I think he has a semi layout that his kids play with. But I don't know if I want to box it up. Like, box up for what? I don't know.
It's tough. I mean, like I went through last month. I went through all my buildings, all the bridges that I had on my old layout, and I took a lot of that to Larkspur, and I got store credit, which was very helpful. Yeah. So I mean, like they will give you a good deal, of course, if if everything's in working condition, if it is pretty. If you destroyed the kit, then they probably won't give you all that much for it. But yeah, any little bit helps. And I think I got rid of like a bin of stuff, maybe, because you know me, I love to build kits, and I tend to buy more kits than what I need or what will fit. Even my steel mill, I still have my steel mill, but I have no room for it. But there was no way I was getting rid of that because there's no way I'd be able to find another one. I already had a heck of a time buying the full ethanol plant again, and that's like 11 years after it was out of production. So very fortunate, but yeah.
I like my parents' house. I'll keep that as a keepsake. I'll box up and put it somewhere. But like the other houses, the warehouse. Roger says take it apart and kit bash. That's not a bad idea. but there's no like, what's the word? There's no attachment to it. So I might try and sell it. I don't have much room for storage. We're packed with the Raptors here, so it's either take it apart, throw it out, or try and sell it.
You've got a few houses.
Yeah.
Well, let's start from the top here, because you've been planning, I'm assuming, as to about roughly what you want to do, and I think everybody is dying to know what this new layout is going to involve or what it's going to look like.
Yeah, coming 2026. Well, do you want to see my inspiration first of all?
I do. Do you want me to go full screen?
Yeah, let me just present here. Share screen.
Like, I want people to be able to see. So.
Okay.
Oh, your chair? Okay.
Can you see that?
Okay. Yeah, I see that. Okay. There we go. Okay, so that. Now we're okay. This is from Model Railroader.
So it's tough to find. I think my room's like, it's an odd shape, like 9 by 8.5, or it's close to 10 by 10. So it's hard to find a good 10 by 10 layout. But Denny was nice enough. He sent me a few ideas. This is probably the closest to what I want. So my room is about a 10 by 10. There's a little nook and stuff, which we'll get to that in a second. But I don't know whether you can see it. But basically, there's a main loop that goes around with a lift out. And there's a bunch of industries they jammed in here. There's industry top left here. It says quarry cement, just one track. Top right, they have a freight house, I guess, team track. That could be industry there. Down here, bottom right, they have an industry as well, one track. This is a 2-track industry. It's a packing house and box shook, whatever that is.
Mm-hmm.
They have a turntable, which I will not do. That could be industry there. They have an industry down here, looks like. And this is a bit of a yard on the curve. And then potentially another industry down here in the bottom. So lots of industries, lots of switching potential. Oh, and one here too. So this is my inspiration. I'm kind of going off this track plan a little bit. The only thing I don't get, and this is a question I wanted to ask Dave.
Yeah.
Or someone who does, because again, my main goal in this track plan is operations. The current layout was to model my parents' house and the via train, the passenger train going in the backyard, and the freight was just a bonus. So this one's truly just all freight, no passenger, focus on switching, and lots of industries, as many as possible. So one thing I'm thinking is, I'm not a huge fan of blocking the main line when you're doing operations. But then I'm thinking it's just going to be me in there probably running trains, so what's the big deal? So I'm not sure. So for instance, if you look at this on the diagram here, this track plan, top left, they just have one track. How do you switch that one track realistically? Like, you have to clog the main line, no? I can't see that. I'm going to go back to the chat here.
Well, if it's just one train running, I don't think you have to worry about any interference by anything on the main.
Yeah, I know. Because if you want, if there's cars sitting here in what's called robles, I guess. Let's say there's 2 cars sitting here, and you want to take them out and put 2 other cars there. You have to take up the main line, which is fine, I guess. But ideally, I'd love to have the space to go into the industry. You can have it, yeah. Go into the industry and then have a train running the main line. But Anyway, I guess basically there's some things I guess have to sacrifice, I guess, with a smaller layout. The other thing I don't like about this track plan is the curved yard. I really don't want a curved yard because it's so difficult to couple and uncouple cars. So I'm really trying to avoid that.
That, and based off of the curve, the tighter the radius, you'd have to have more space in between for the larger cars.
Yeah, good point. Thank you.
Unless you're running all 40-foot box cars and tank cars, but I think you've got a good selection of different rolling stock there. It might be a bit more difficult. I like it. I think that this fits the room really well. Yeah. And when you get rid of that turntable, and then I'm assuming that the nook area, which you said you were mentioned, but would it be the bottom left side of this, right beside the yard?
Yeah, this is where the nook is here. Kind of a little indent. It's about like 10 inches, almost a foot.
Mm-hmm.
It's where my current yard is right now, which is a great spot for industry. Just the problem is, let's just get to it here. So I have 3. Okay, so stop sharing. And I'll go to present. So I can do this.
The one major thing that I did like about that, and the one thing that you'll notice about the layouts that are like professionally done, is that the track does not line up with the front edge. So it doesn't run parallel with it goes out, and where
I remember you telling me that when I first started this layout. So I designed my new yard with that in mind. Mm-hmm. I'm trying to get, how do I share? Can I share the AnyRail screen? I guess so. Let me see if I can do this.
You should be able to.
We didn't practice this, kids. We didn't practice this. 1 second.
You mean you didn't draw little pictures like me? You didn't want to hold them up? my children's scribbles?
Share my entire screen. Here's the...
Oh, yes. Yeah.
All right. Can you see this?
Yes. Let me go full screen here so people can see.
Okay. So this is version 1.1. It's a bit of a mess. Again, as you know, this is a free trial, so I can't really fill in the entire track plan. But basically, this red outline that you see, that is the bench work. So I'm going to extend it. So right now, currently, here, can you see my cursor?
Yep.
Okay. So here's a little nook. This is where my current CN yard is. And I have my control panel, the throttle right here. There's a bit of an indent. So the benchwork indents to match this indent in the wall. I'm going to try and extend to get more bench work or more tabletop. I'm going to extend the bench work out and hide my throttle so I have more space here for track and for yard. So here's the, I'm just going to do one single track. Here will be the lift out. And this is the all the bench work here. So it's about 2.5 feet up top. That's the same, that's original. This is about almost 3 feet here. This is the same as well. And the sliding doors here. So pretty much the existing bench work. And I think I said this in my last live show. It's hard for me to wrap my head around a new track plan without using the existing track plan.
Mm-hmm. The first one that you showed was definitely a really good starter as far as, you could build off of that.
Yeah. And
this one is a really good take on that. I think pushing the tracks back so far where you're right up against the wall almost in certain sections, you're making your curves bigger, but you're basically doing the same thing that you're doing right now.
Yeah, I know.
So there's not too much of a change.
Yeah. So let me open up another one. Can you see that?
Yeah.
So here is, like you said, this is the yard, and the tracks aren't parallel with the bench work.
Good.
I've got 3 fairly long tracks here, lots of storage for my cars. This track plan has 2 locomotive sheds, one up here, one down here. And my thought was I could have one train that runs north and one train that runs south. Maybe like a CN up top and a Santa Fe down below. Just thinking. And then here, this track plan, this one kind of does the S curve. These curves are pretty tight. But in order for
How tight are they?
Like 14, I think. They're 14-inch curve. That's like less than 18.
So no auto racks then, eh?
No. So I just, it turns out I'm not a great track planner. I have a hard time kind of making things work. I might just do your thing and just use a napkin and hope for the best. But this is kind of the idea. I want the yard closer to the edge of the bench work so that there's not much reaching. So lots of switching here. You can just easily switch without reaching over. And now the nook, there's a spot for industry. So either you come off the main line up here into the industry, or even down here, come off a switch into the industry.
So you want to have a whole section of just, drop off and pick up, basically.
Yeah. And then again, over here, you can see I mimicked the track line I showed you. There's just a track going up here, so it'd be a little industry here. And then hopefully down here, something real small, little, maybe like a 1 or 2 car drop off.
Yeah, because you can always do it as like a backdrop building and then whatever in front of it.
Yeah. Let's go to this one here.
You said that you wanted to hide your controller as well. Like you want to remove that from the equation, basically, right?
Yeah.
Do you have the LNWI?
I do, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is that why because then you just power it on and then you can just use your phone to run?
Yeah. That's not in stone. I'm just thinking about it. I do like the throttle, even the Zephyr. So, I don't know.
Because you can even get one of those little panel things that I have, and then run an RJ12 to it, so that you can plug a controller into it. All you need is one of the little throttles with a knob, and then you can just plug it into the fascia.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an idea.
That way it keeps it clean, and then you can always put that throttle away so there's no wires hanging down or anything.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know yet. The bench work is going to be, I really want to get some fancy bench work because I need a lot of storage underneath. And I would love to have a spot for my laptop. Like sliding drawers and the whole 9 yards. But it's tricky when you have fascia go around too. So I don't know. Okay,
yeah,
so
I think that things start to really get tighter once you start adding the fascia, because then you really see the area that you're covering at that point.
Yeah.
James is offering to build you a drawer.
Oh, okay.
Well, you've got the you do the container thing now, right? Where you put everything in the containers for storage.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's not so bad, because then it makes things a lot more accessible at that point, except for the locomotives, right?
Yeah.
I don't think we put the locomotives in there yet.
Yeah. And the thing with the drawers too is I don't want the drawers to mess with the wires that are going to be underneath the layouts. So anyway, I digress. So here's another version. This is so the yard has, like, you enter the yard here on the left, and then you can exit the yard way up here. I was thinking of having it join the main line up here, but then again, that's a bit of a stretch to hit the switch. So it come all the way around and join the main line here. So it's kind of the oh, I'm drawing a blank. What's that track called in the yard? The lead, I think, the yard lead.
Yard lead, yeah.
So I definitely want that because this current yard doesn't have that. So that'd be nice to have. A nice big long yard lead. Either it connects up here or here, then you're on your way. And then I was thinking this whole area, which is right now my residential area, this whole area could be like an oil industry or something, or gas or petroleum or sulfur, I don't know.
I like the fact that you have a a starting location for a car and an end location, right? So because cars are constantly moving, so they got to go somewhere. Yeah. So if they're in the yard, and then you can take them to the industry, you can switch out the cars that are there, the fulls for the empties, and then bring them back to the yard. You kind of write your own story that way, right?
Yeah. And then these two tracks here, like I was trying to design it away so that, again, I'm just thinking about operations. To get here, you have to have this random track here so that you can kind of drive in, then back into these tracks. Or do you? I don't know.
Well, Luxury Venture is saying less is more. So in a case like this, if you take off the track that's on your right side, so the one that goes into like the Y there, you can always put a switch at the very top and then cross through that curved part down in. So that means you're only doing the one track going down, but then you can always split it after the cross.
So put a switch up here?
Yeah. So if the switch is up there and then bring it down to the tail end of that Y that we're getting rid of.
Yeah.
So you're crossing through that section. Almost like I can draw it. I can totally draw this. Hang on.
Whoops.
Because a lot of people, I've seen these where it goes like this. You're doing that, but you're basically going to do that on a curve, if that makes sense.
No, that's not going to work.
But there's there's plenty you can play around with there with that. I think that like that again, that first one that you were showing off is an excellent version or a replica of what could be in the room there. Yeah. So it basically sets the bar pretty high right now. But of course, you'll have a bit more room to play with on that left-hand side where you have that nook sort of where it goes out, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. I just don't like the curved yard.
Yeah. What is the longest straight stretch there?
In which one?
Like in that room. So what is the, like for a straight section, what is the longest straight section?
Let's see. Present.
I think either way you would have to do stub end. So it's only one way in, one way out.
Like this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7 feet of straight. Is that what you mean?
7 feet. Yeah.
And these curves,
Now, if you remember my old layout, remember how I had that yard along the bottom there?
Yes.
That was 8 feet long.
Wow.
So, I mean, it's not too far off. So you can still fit a lot of cars within that. But I think I had, 7 tracks with
Yeah.
2.5-inch track centers, I believe.
Yeah.
So it's, yeah, you could still fit a lot, even if you put most of your storage into the Nook area. I'm not sure if that's what you would want to do, but put your storage at the back and then have your industries maybe in the 4 corners or 3 corners. That way everything is spread out.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know.
And for the bridge, now are you going to rebuild your lift out?
I think so. Yeah. I'm gonna try and take James' advice. I would ideally I want to just set the track down and done. No track joiners, but we'll see.
Walters has those track extenders too.
Oh
So
yeah.
basically it's a piece like this. So if that's all on your bridge, when you lower it, you just pull it out to meet with the track, and that's still one long piece of track. And then when you go to open it, you just close it again, and then you can lift up the whole bridge.
Okay.
And you can do that at both ends too, right? Because the one section that has to tilt up, you want to kind of pull that track back as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Some good advice here in the chat.
My problem is that I don't try to overthink anything. I do it. So, I know it's easier said than done, but
Yeah.
there's nothing quite like just getting in there and laying some cork, laying some track, drawing it all out where it's going to go, where you want it to go.
Yeah.
If you have kits that you want on the layout in certain places, like all this, I was able to place all these building kits where I knew I wanted them to go, and then I filled in the area with the track after. So it made it a little bit easier. It was just certain things that I had to work out, of course, like the curvature over here, and then going through the portal, like way back there, right there.
Yeah. I'm going back and reading the chat that I missed because I couldn't see it. But so I know this guy, Hortus, you read to me earlier. Less is more, you're jamming too much in. That's what I want though. I want lots of switching. I only have one real switching opportunity right now, and
I think if you let Dave in there for like 5-10 minutes, he'll be able to squeeze a couple more in there. Throw in some what are they called? Double throw switches?
But that was the double slip, yeah.
Double slips, yeah. He'll build you a ladder that you can go to the moon with, I don't know how he does a lot of that. But he does a really good job. And like his area, the overall area that he's covering is probably half the space that you have in total.
Yeah.
And he was able to fit a good 4 industries in. Dave, I know you're in the chat.
Yeah.
You got at least 4 industries that are on your layout? Maybe 5, I think.
I just I don't want to go to 18 inches in the curves. I'm thinking like 24 is the minimum.
Yeah.
I still want to run big locomotives. This is
just remember
Ep4.
this. If you're running a 6-axle, like I can run a 6-axle locomotive on Bachman's snap track, but it's because of the curve is so consistent on those that it won't derail at all. But if you do an 18-inch flex track, you have to make sure that that 18-inch radius is perfect. Otherwise, it will derail. It's the weirdest thing.
Yeah. So there's Well, my last live show, I was talking about having a yard. I know someone said, don't do the yard. It's not worth it. But I do want the storage.
Mm-hmm.
And I liked operating your yard. I liked operating Dave's yard. So I kind of like that aspect too. Please no slip switches or 3-way turnouts. I used to do the same thing. I used to hate the slip switches, but now I'm starting to see the purpose for them.
Yeah, they still give me a hard time. I got used to it a little bit at the club because I'm kind of forced to at that point.
Exactly.
Like you can't avoid it.
Yeah. Be them, join them.
I was thinking about using a 3-way switch, a couple of them anyways, up here, because I have to. So this is what this up here part is supposed to look like. I know it's kind of hard to tell with the. Hold on a second. If I put this behind it, it might be easier to. There we go. So that's what it's supposed to look like with the maintenance facility, but it's 9 tracks here that go into the facility, and then 2 extra tracks that go all the way to the back here, and it all comes in on 2 tracks over here. So I have a very limited amount of space right here. I'm either going to have to dumb that down, or I'm going to have to use, a 3-way switch or 2 just to be able to feed the stalls of my my building, which again, not looking forward to, but if I can make it work with, some smaller switches, then we'll see what happens. But it's a lot. I like working in larger areas so that there isn't really that much of a limitation. But then as soon as you have like a tight area and you have to start using, let's say like number 5s or number 4s in certain cases, then, it becomes a bit more hectic, and you got to go slower, and not all cars are going to work on them. I mean, even with a number 4, even number 5s, I mean, you won't really see those too often on a main line. So you got to, play your cards right when you're modeling it.
Yeah. Here's a good question. Did you decide on what height the layout's going to be? So I was thinking about going higher only because then I'll have more room underneath the layout to store things. But when my son's girlfriend's parents came over, I noticed it was a pretty good height for them to look at, and even for myself, leaning over and switching just leaning over and switching the turnouts and stuff. It's a good height, so I might just keep it the same height, which is 48 inches. Does that sound right? 50 inches.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's about 4 feet tall, and that's just because of the way lumber is. The lumber comes at 8 feet stretches, so I just cut it in half, and they're 4 foot legs.
Yeah, it works.
It's all math. So
your math is mathing. Thank you for that. So this is all going to commence. What's your time frame here? Because obviously, you've been mowing around it for a little bit now.
James is the foreman. James has a schedule for me. He's gonna keep me on track. Well, like you said, you gave me anxiety when you said what are you gonna do with your kits. Like that's gonna be a big job in itself. Clearing off the layout, taking breaks to break down and cry. What am I doing? finding a spot to put all this stuff. I asked my wife today. I said, "Are you okay if I make a new layout this summer because it's going to involve me emptying the train room into our living space for a while because it's a very, very you never seen it. It's a very, very small room.
I can't say I've ever been in there.
Yeah, Dave has. It's a very, very small room, so I can't just move everything to one side of the room and work. Everything has to come out. Like there's a lot of stuff behind those curtains, so I gotta find a spot for all the trains that are on the layout, all the kits, the track. Then I got to dismantle the whole thing because I think I'm going to start right from scratch.
Really?
I debated that, but I want to do a better job with wiring. So I want to drill holes, and I want to, I have 2 outlets in the train room that are covered with the legs of my layout. So that was a poor job planning. So I think I'm going to start from scratch. I'll try to reuse the lumber from this layout, but so that's going to take in itself, it's going to be a big job, just taking apart this layout and then start building again.
A lot of it has ballast on it too, right?
Yeah. So there's that.
Been there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough. Starting over is no easy task because
yeah. But I think I'm ready for it. I'm excited to have a new layout, something new. It's all going to be level. There's no risers, no inclines, and it's just going to be switching.
Well, at least and here's the thing: if you use foam, at least you can cut below the level, right?
Yeah.
Like you lay your track, and then if you want to do culverts and whatnot, you can always cut into the foam, which is something.
Yeah. So, what was I going to say? Yeah, someone, I think it was Mike's, mentioned that for 6-axle locomotives, you need at least 28 inches on a curve.
Yeah.
Huh. This changes everything.
Like, would you be able to run a 6-axle locomotive on Dave's layout? Probably not.
No.
But he has 4-axle, and they look like they have a wider base to them.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like I've seen him try to run certain, like he'll run Bowser's, no problem. But I've taken over 4-axle Rapidos, and they don't work all that well.
Yeah.
I think at one point I took over some 4-axle Walthers, and they were okay, but they weren't as smooth as running the Bowsers, because I think the Bowsers have more weight to them, which will help keep them on the rails. Okay. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dave. My memory is like I can't remember last week, so it really depends on the brand and logo. Yeah, see, he's okay though with the Bowser. Like
I know.
It's his thing.
But I'm okay with just having the main line, just a loop, have bigger radius or radii, and then the industries can be smaller, and I'll just have the small logos do the switching and stuff. I'm cool with that.
I've always been a fan of keeping it simple, and then James is absolutely right. You don't want to like overdo anything. You want to have fun, and that's the main purpose with this, right? Yeah. Have fun with it, be able to do those things that you want to do. You just have to do it in like the simplest form, but it still has to work. So.
Yeah.
But it's fun because it sounds like you've already decided what types of industries that you want to have, and you have a really good mindset about it, which is very helpful, right? If you go at this thing with a pickaxe and dynamite, you just end up making a mess, and it'll be discouraging, right? So
so here's the thing. I haven't really decided what industries are going to do.
Really? Because on the thing there, it looked like, and then you were I'm going to have this kind of industry,
Here's my plan.
So you have an idea, but you haven't said in stone, this is what's going to be there in this spot. Understandable.
Here's my plan. I'm going to go to Larkspur. I'm going to go to their Walther section and see what they have available in kits. And that's all I'll pick. That looks cool. Good plan.
This might even be a good opportunity to take inventory on what you have.
Like car-wise?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's like, there's nothing worse than saying, well, I'm going to have a coal industry, but then you don't have any coal cars.
No.
Or you have one. I did that once. I had one wood chip car. One. I thought I had way more than that. And then I waited for, I think it was a Bowser, and I'm like, well, they'll make more. They haven't made more. It's been like 6 years. Yeah. So...
Well, I definitely want an industry that involves tank cars. So
has to be done.
Maybe. What's that?
Has to be done.
Yeah.
Got to put them all to use.
Yeah.
You can have a tank farm. That'd be great. I'm sure there's a bunch of silos and piping that you can get. I remember them. They had, if you're looking for a large amount of bulk piping,
yeah,
they have a used kit. It's a box from the ethanol series, and it just had a whole bunch of plastic piping in it, which might be very helpful for you. I think it was like $10 or $12.
Okay.
It's at the back on the floor. Look for that when you go.
Okay.
But yeah, you can do a lot with that. But so you're probably going to be starting, next month or whatever.
Yeah.
I know it's going to be kind of hard because, of course, you won't be able to run trains as much. But hopefully, with the method that you're taking and the planning and whatnot, we'll get to see all this unfold within the next month or so. You think?
I hope so. I hope I can beat James's odds of 200 to 1.
Are you going to be documenting?
Are people interested in that? Like I watched some videos and like, this is me taking my layout down. Is that interesting to people? Seeing me take apart, like.
To me, it's the equivalent to, this is the layout update. I have no layout. But content, I don't know if it's just me, but content is very scarce lately.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of people jump ship, which that's scary. I've seen a lot of people throw in the towel. That's scary. Yeah.
This is a great segue into my next live show. Here's a plug. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do Where Are They Now?
Where are they now?
July 17th. Tune in. Where Are They Now? I'm gonna choose a couple of subscribers or YouTubers that I follow, that I've subscribed to, who haven't posted. I guess the criteria will be over a year.
Over a year? Okay.
I'll do SOS. Where are you guys? What happened to you?
And if for some reason it turns out to be more of an in memoriam, and then they're watching, they're like, hey, come on. I'm right here. I'm still existing. But yeah, that'll be funny. But
like Fred E. That guy hasn't posted a good video since like 2022.
Well, remember the time we were live? I can't remember what live it was, and I was talking. I was like, you know what channel I really miss? I miss What a Mess Railroad.
Oh, yeah.
And then he was in the chat, and he's like, and I'm like, I thought you fell off the face of the earth. Why are you not doing updates?
And he posted a video. He posted a video for us.
Yeah, and then he didn't again after that.
No, and that's fine. That's
back
good.
into hibernation.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun. So I mean, like, yeah, it's tough. I really hope that more people start making more content and come back, because honestly, there's a lot of good layouts out there, and there was a lot of good videos, and some of those I enjoyed watching, and for them to just disappear or stop or lose interest and whatnot,
yeah,
it's tough to see, but Crazy. Yeah. BA Rail, like he full on said that he's tired of it and he doesn't want to do it anymore. Amazing layout. Every single layout video he did, I watched. Yeah, some of that's it's crazy. It's crazy to hear. I remember when I'm trying to think of DJ's trains, like, you know, he came out to the meet and greet, and then not too long after that, he's like, yeah, I'm stepping away. And it's like, I'm not even at scale, and I watch your stuff like religiously, you know? It's crazy. Speaking of content, so you're gonna do the video, the where are they now kind of video. So we started doing that, but you're gonna do an actual one on the what, the 17th?
17th.
That's the plan, eh?
Because I'm already planning ahead. I'll have no layout to run trains, so I can't do running trains live. So I'm hoping by July 17th, there's some progress going on in the train room.
I have a layout update video that's coming out probably before the 1st, so probably on the weekend, possibly. I just got to finish it. And then I'm doing a whole series that's very unoriginal in every sort of way, and I'll even mention Tim. Do you remember Tim? Remember that guy?
Where is he now? Oh,
That's on you.
What?
Is Tim at your door? No, but yeah, with Tim, he was building. Mark's dying right now. I'm sorry, Mark.
My poor dog.
So yeah, Tim was doing a video series where he was building a building, and then the building had a lot of windows, and he would do a graffiti on each window. That was a lot of work. That's that's a lot. I don't know how far he got. I'd have to go back and look. So this kind of takes inspiration from that. Because I wanted to do something where I'm doing something every single day. And what better thing to do than to show you every single piece of rolling stock I have. Hey, and I'm going to do a car a day.
Okay.
They're like 15 seconds long, so there's not too much information. Yeah. But it's like, check this out, and then you see it, and it's like really close, and it's like, and I'm filling my yard, which is great. I get to take everything out and show it, and it's a different car. A lot of planning goes into that, actually, because
that's a great idea.
I like to be organized, so I write down the car. The car, the manufacturer, and right now, so far, preloaded, I have all the way to the end. What?
Question.
Okay.
Do you own a computer or a tablet or a laptop, or why are you writing out everything by hand?
Because I can take this with me everywhere. I don't know. The laptop. So here's the funny thing with me. I hate laptops so much.
Old man.
Whatever. This thing that I'm using is over 10 years old. And if I unplug the power, it no longer becomes a laptop that I can take somewhere.
Yeah, mine too. Mine too.
Stupid batteries. I mean, my wife has a MacBook, but I only use that when I do lives out there because, I don't want to ruin it. It's a expensive laptop. So I just use this old thing. Anyways, I try to stay as organized as possible. And, I've got about 2 months worth. So if all goes well and people don't start sending death threats, I'll keep going. But I've got at least July and August every single day.
Wow.
Yeah. And just to kind of switch it up, every 10 days, I do a locomotive instead. So I'm throwing different things into the mix. You're not getting a box car every single day until I get, kicked off of YouTube. no, I want, one day it's a box car, one day it's a cylindrical hopper, the next day it's, a passenger car. I wanted to, do a little bit of everything and keep it interesting, stuff like that.
Okay.
What's spreadsheet? What's Google? Thanks, Todd. It's just I don't know. I got paper. I do look. I've got. Hold on a second. You guys are gonna laugh at me. Stop laughing at me. Hold on. Yeah, early versions of my yard. Like I draw it out. Like there you go. There's all my switches. I make a list of all the different, lefts, rights, curved, large, medium. Like everything is in here. Hold on a second. More pictures. Like I doodle and I draw. I don't know. It takes me back to high school, I guess, where I was doing things that were more interesting than the actual work itself. But I make lists and I always, obviously I plan out things like live show stuff too and put them in here. I've got books like, those things that you get, the duotangs with the metal ring down the side.
Yeah.
Over the years that I've been doing this, I could go back and reference GVO shows and the things that we talked about because I've got so many of those books filled front to back of just stuff. It's never going to be worth anything, but whoever finds it,
you never know.
In like 50 years from now, they'll be like, this guy, what's wrong with him? He's had computers this entire time.
I could see your kids going through it. Dad was crazy, eh? Yeah, Dad was crazy. Look at this.
But like when you remember back, it's like I used to write down every time there was a new announcement, all the different car names and whatnot. And then when we would come on and we'd be talking about it, I would talk about all the new announcements that month and how much the MSRP was and all that stuff. I went through that whole thing and I filled up books. I think I've got at least 6 or 7 books full. I'll show you next time you come over. But
okay.
Yeah. You're going to be like, Chris, your spelling is atrocious. I'm like, I just jot it down. I'm not like writing an essay, whatever. But yeah, so that's been the last 7 seasons of GVO After Dark. But yeah, layouts.
Well, good for you.
I try. Oh yeah. Also, so yeah, we talked about the shorts. So watch for those. Hopefully, people do watch them because everything takes time to do. I'm almost done my main line. It feels good to say that.
Golden spike.
So October 28th is when like I started in 2014, something like that. 2014. But it was on October 28th. So we're in that whole 10 year right now, but October 28th is when that ends, and I'm in my 11th year. Kind of gross, but yeah. So I'm hoping to have my golden spike before October 28th or on October 28th of this year, just to say, start off the 11th season or 11th year or whatever of this, fun
you
stuff.
better be finished before October.
Oh, I hope so.
Yeah.
I want to say at least September, because I'm at the top of the helix. But my problem is, and you'll probably see it if you watch my layout update, is that I went from doing a 4-inch rise to a 4.5-inch rise. And even though the train goes up, I'm worried about the bridge from the top of the helix, like across here, like across the doorway, because it looks like it's probably about a 3% grade. And it's a little bit more than what I would have liked. So it basically means that I'll either have to run some shorter trains, make sure that I have 2 locomotives on at all times, which is prototypical anyways if you're running freight, usually mainline freight anyways. So it's trial and error, but I am at the top of the helix now, which is great. I'm always testing, and I've been doing a lot of testing, adjusting, and whatnot, just to make sure that it runs really well. Which I still haven't showed you guys yet. You probably won't see that in the update video, anyways. But I'm really, really excited to be at the top level now. So it's just, the sky's the limit.
Yeah.
And then you can come over and run trains.
Can't wait. Can't wait.
We'll cram into this office and we'll do a GVO.
Okay.
You just got to duck under the door there. Okay. Bub's tried and he is like, oh, jeez. He made that sound. He's like, oh, it's a little low. I can say that because he's not here to rebuttal, so that's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, he did make a sound. It was fun. But yeah. So yeah, and then of course, are you doing anything for Canada Day? Are you gonna
train wise? No.
Yeah, no. Oh. I had an idea for a project, but it depends on if I know I don't have the day off, but I want to do something for Canada Day. I don't know if it's gonna work. I don't want to spoil it, but
okay,
we'll see if it happens or not. And of course, the 4th of July is coming up as well, to all the Americans as well. Happy 4th of July. And yeah, so your video that the live that you're doing coming up, that's what you have planned. Do you have any other videos planned at all?
Well, I hope to go rail fanning with my dogs, so expect a new theme song and rail fanning videos. And hey, there's Chris, Big CW.
Hey, Chris.
And Fred mentioned I should tear down my layout live. People watch that live show of me tearing my layout down?
There was a day that Sean and Sparky built a 4x8 layout outside in the blistering heat.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Even though I was working, I watched that entire thing. It was crazy. People watch it. People like it. It's so yeah. If you're taking your thing apart, I know it's already going to be kind of hectic, making a mess and trying to do things without breaking anything, and that's probably your focus. But people will still watch that.
Kind of a live auction, maybe.
A live auction. Anybody else hoping that this new Lily and Dingo song is going to be more of a rap? Because you were saying that there's going to be a new song, and I'm like, oh, please let it be a rap.
Dingo?
Yeah, you dingo. You have a dingo. It looks like a dingo. I'm just saying.
Yeah. That's a first. She does look like a dingo.
A little bit. Not too much.
Chris calls Shang a dingo.
Yeah.
And now I can't unsee it.
And then
listen.
And then I saw that picture of you and the dogs on Facebook, and I was like, it's Dingo and the baby.
A dingo ate my Lily.
Where's Artie? He'd have final say. He'd have final say in that. Oh, Chris, you did your fascia top part crack on you. I have to do another layer on top of this to kind of round it. But yeah, right here, it was dry. It was too dry, and it's kind of lifting, but it's because I drilled it in too tight. I didn't really ease it, but what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna put another layer on the front because that's just, I wanted to cap it. But yeah, good eye. John Train said the dingo ate the baby. Terrible. Do you feed it babies? That's terrible. Todd, that was terrible. Hopefully I haven't started a thing. Mark's trying not to die right now.
So,
all right.
Yeah, look forward to a new layout. The wrap, yeah. I do want to get funky. I want to get creative with my bench work. I want it more functional. Can I throw into the bus, honey? I'm driving one day, and my wife calls me and says, "I can't find our passports."
Yeah, go ahead for a minute.
I said, "They're in the train room." We're in the train room. I said, "It's easy. You just gotta lift up the locomotive box, shift the passport box over to the left, move the curtain aside." And I was like, she goes, "I'm not doing that. Forget it." So okay, things gotta change. I gotta build compartments and shelves and drawers, and the curtains have to actually be able to
part like this. Yeah.
They got a curtain.
The curtain's got a curtain. Yeah.
Curtain's got a curtain. So,
what about Velcro? You have a sewing machine, right? You can just put on some Velcro.
Even that though, you have to no, I just want to be able to.
Really, because even with I've got, and I lift it, and I just.
No. Get something from under there. Get something from under the layout. Dang it.
This curtain has been here for a little bit, and what I do is I fold it and I put it on top, and sometimes I'll put something up there to hold it.
That's what I do.
And then I did wiring and whatnot under that.
Yeah. I do the same thing, which I don't want to do anymore. I want curtains.
Well, it is what it is, but we're all looking forward to the new layout. I think it'll be great. It'll keep you busy over the summer, anyways. It's a good way to beat the heat,
Yeah,
something. I did say that it gets hot in that room.
Something to do.
So. Either way.
Yeah, I look forward to making new content too.
But so there's.
Go ahead.
It's been a while since you do lives, once a month.
Yeah.
When was the last time you uploaded a video, an edited?
Probably my roster battle videos.
Wasn't that last summer?
Yeah. Jeez.
So are you going to do a bus battle? Because you don't need power to. You can do the bus battle. I can lend you a few buses if you want.
Tempting.
Can I interrupt?
Yeah.
I can't tell you guys how many times we've been in the car or we've been going someplace and I saw a totally great opportunity for him to make a video. And I said, why don't we stop the car right now? This is me. And I said, we're going to get out and let's make this really cool video. It'll be so cool. Look at that train over there. And da-da-da-da-da. And he's like, no. I always encourage him to make videos. His live videos, I think, are so creative and good. And he just doesn't.
Doesn't ring a bell at all.
Oh my God. Yeah.
I still say one of your best videos, the one that got me, and I was like, how did he do this? Is when you had a box and you set the box down on the table, and then you continuously pulled out a 2x4 that was clearly didn't fit in the box, and I'm like, how did he pull it out of the? And it's the box was like a shoe box, and I'm like, Walt Disney over here. This is Animation Studios doing some crazy nonsense. It's crazy.
So James says my last video was 4 months ago. I can't remember what I posted.
James, was that a video or was that a short? Because I know he's done some shorts. We're giving you heck now. We're giving you the business because the people want more Eminem Rails videos, full-length feature film.
Yeah.
And they want Tom Hanks to play Mark.
Oh,
For
yeah,
some-
the black bonnet, the Santa Fe. Yeah.
Oh, that was a good one too.
Yeah.
That was February or March, sometime around there.
Yeah.
More Scuttlebutt Lodge. Yes, thank you.
Well, I appreciate all the feedback and the motivational support.
You can do it. Give the people what they want, Mark. Come on.
Oh, Jesus.
This is the only way it's going to happen, is if we peer pressure you. All right. Well, we only do this once a month, so got to make the most out of it.
Yeah.
But I hope that everything goes well with the layout. If you need anything, give me a call. I'll be trapped under mine. So yeah, we'll see how next month goes. Make sure everybody stays tuned to Thursday nights. Obviously, why are you laughing? I'm trying to be serious. And you're
I'm reading the chat. Sorry.
Oh, okay, well, hold on. I heard a quote today, and it was a really good quote. And I'm not going to say it word for word because I probably will mess it up terribly. But it says, being really bad at something is the start of becoming pretty good at something. So, if you ever feel discouraged, if you ever feel like I can't do that, and you try and you're really bad at it, just remember, the more you do it, the better you'll get. So, yep. But so we got Denny next week. He's the first Thursday of the month. But don't forget to hang out every Monday night over on James Dundas Junction Model Railroad's channel, or Trackside. Keep her on the tracks. Mike. I said that wrong. I don't know. It's a Keep It On the Tracks Monday night with Mike and James.
It's off the tracks Monday.
Keep it off the tracks? Keep it on the tracks. Wait, no. Well, they go off the rails, but they say to keep it on the tracks.
Yeah, but the show is called Off the Tracks, I think. Because they go off track or something like that.
Who is their marketing manager? Honestly. No, they're great. All right. Well, thank you, everybody. Thank you for watching. Mark, as always, it's been a slice. You're pretty awesome.
Lots of fun.
Do you have anything before we go?
I just hope I remember how to build a layout. It's been over 5 years. How do you lay cork and lay? I got to watch your videos again, your how-to videos.
Oh, I don't even know how I do it. I just do it.
Yeah, it's like riding a bike, right?
Yeah, I always leave out the part where I struggle immensely. So that's why it looks so clean. And it's like, oh, wow. Chris knows how to lay track. You have to catch me on a bad day. Oh, well.
Working on the railroad, the night hits the rails. Oh, in Argovia, telling the tales.
Until next week, everybody.
Talking with Mark. All my friends are here. GVO after dark.
Woo.
GVO after dark.
Mark.
GVO after dark.